When you say Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, people are like, oh my goodness, they don't like each other, so let's see what this is about.
Yeah.
So when you say Sheryl Swoopes, Caitlin Clark, it's like, oh my goodness, Sheryl doesn't like her, so let's see what this is about.
Oh, so now Sheryl Swoopes respects Caitlin Clark? Hold up. This is the same Sheryl Swoopes who's been throwing shade at Caitlin from day one, talking about how she wouldn't dominate in the WNBA, how she's overhyped, how she wouldn't be able to handle the pros. You know, the same Sheryl who seemed to have Caitlin Clark Hate Club president on her resume.
I think what Caitlin has done for not just college basketball, but for women's basketball, period, I think has been great.
But guess what? The hater bus just ran out of gas. Because Caitlin just made a move so powerful, so undeniable, that even Sheryl Swoopes, yes, that Sheryl Swoopes had to admit she was impressed. And let's be honest, you know it killed her to say it. You could see it in her face. She was struggling, gritting her teeth, trying not to let it slip, but this was her realizing that Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement. And at this point, the old guard can either get on board or get left behind. So, let's break it all down. Because this moment, this changes everything. But before we jump into the good stuff, take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By joining our crew, you'll always be in the loop with the latest WNBA updates, expert takes, and breakdowns of big moves just like this. Don't miss out. We've got every angle covered. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive right in.
Here is once again another example of Sheryl Swoopes hating Caitlin Clark so much that she literally can't even say her name.
Now let's talk about what really happened, because this wasn't just any decision, it was a moment that shook up the entire basketball world. For the second straight year, Caitlin Clark turned down a chance to compete in the NBA All-Star Game's three-point contest. And yeah, a lot of people were disappointed, especially the NBA brass. After all, the NBA was banking on Clark's star power to give them a ratings boost. They wanted her to bring that electric energy, that undeniable star presence. And let's be real, those millions of eyeballs that follow her everywhere she goes. But Caitlin, she had other plans. At first, you'd expect the haters to come out of the woodwork after a decision like this, calling her selfish, calling her afraid, because let's face it, every decision she makes is under a microscope. If she so much as blinks the wrong way, critics are ready to jump on her, but not this time. Her decision to snub the NBA magically struck a chord with her detractors, and in a twist no one saw coming, her longtime critic, Sheryl Swoopes, actually came to her defense. And let's talk about that for a second, because Sheryl Swoopes defending Caitlin Clark, that's like if Tom and Jerry suddenly became best friends. The basketball world collectively stopped and scanned the sky for flying pigs. Was this really happening? Did Sheryl just hop off the hater bus and board the Caitlin train? The same Sheryl Swoopes who had been vocal about Clark being overhyped and not ready for the WNBA? And let's be real, this wasn't just about rejecting an NBA invitation. This was a defining moment. Caitlin didn't just make a statement about her own career, she made a statement about the future of women's basketball as a whole. She made it crystal clear. The WNBA is not a stepping stone. It's not an afterthought. It's a powerhouse that deserves its own respect, its own spotlight, and its own moment in the sun. And she's leading that charge one bold move at a time. So, why did Caitlin say no to the NBA? Caitlin's representatives made it crystal clear. Her first three-point competition will be at a WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. She's not just skipping out on the NBA, she's making a power move. She's actively choosing to prioritize the women's game. And in doing so, she's sending a loud and clear message to the entire basketball world. Women's basketball deserves its own stage, its own spotlight, and its own level of respect. And this is no small flex. As WNBA star Chiney Ogwumike put it, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. Caitlin Clark isn't just participating in the game anymore, she's dictating its terms. She's rewriting the narrative, shaping the way the world sees the WNBA, and forcing people to take notice. She understands the power of her influence. Every step she takes is calculated. Every decision is made with the bigger picture in mind. She's not just playing basketball, she's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. She knows that by making strategic choices now, she's paving the way for future generations of female athletes. That's next-level leadership. And let's be real, this decision wasn't just about one contest. It was a deliberate effort to continue raising the profile of women's basketball. Every time she turns down an opportunity that shifts the focus to men's sports, she's amplifying the WNBA's presence in the mainstream sports conversation. She's proving that women's basketball isn't an afterthought, it's the main event. But there's more to it than just exposure. Caitlin is thinking long-term. She knows that visibility equals revenue, and revenue equals growth. The more attention the WNBA gets, the more sponsorships roll in, the more networks bid for broadcasting rights, and the higher salaries go for female athletes. This isn't just about her career, it's about the future of the sport as a whole. And if there's one thing we know about Caitlin Clark, it's that she's always thinking one step ahead. This isn't just a movement, it's a revolution, and she's leading the charge. But let's step back for a second. What kind of exposure did Caitlin just cast aside? What did she give up by saying no to the NBA? Well, it's bigger than just one contest. She walked away from a massive promotional opportunity that could have placed her in front of millions of basketball fans worldwide. The NBA All-Star Weekend is one of the most watched basketball events each year, and Caitlin would have been the first woman in history to participate in the three-point contest. That's history-making stuff. And yet, she still said no. Why? Because her vision is bigger than a single moment of individual glory. She's thinking about the future of the WNBA and the young girls who look up to her.
Caitlin Clark, wow. Keep going, the winner. Hey, we're just here for the GOAT. Can't wait to see her live. We are so guys.
The WNBA All-Star Game hasn't exactly been a ratings juggernaut in the past, but here's where it gets interesting. During Clark's rookie season, WNBA regular season viewership nearly tripled. When she played in the Annika Pro-Am golf tournament, ticket sales skyrocketed by 12 times. Everything she touches turns to gold, and she knows it. But it's not just about ratings. Caitlin's presence in the WNBA is redefining how women's basketball is marketed and consumed. Games featuring Caitlin Clark are selling out in record time, with fans traveling across the country just to catch a glimpse of her in action. Entire arenas are adjusting their seating capacities just to accommodate demand. Let that sink in for a second. Caitlin Clark is so popular that teams are literally moving games to bigger stadiums just to fit everyone in. That's the definition of a game changer. Her decision to turn down the NBA wasn't just about one event or one season. It was about the long game. By choosing the WNBA over the NBA's offer, she's sending a clear message. Women's basketball isn't just a sideshow, it's the main event. And let's not forget her impact on merchandise sales. Caitlin's jersey has become one of the best-selling in WNBA history, flying off shelves faster than the league can restock them. The effect? Increased revenue, more sponsorship deals, and an undeniable buzz that has casual sports fans tuning into WNBA games like never before. Beyond the numbers, there's something deeper happening here, something cultural. Women's basketball is finally being seen as legitimate entertainment, not just a secondary option to men's sports. And that's because of Caitlin Clark. She's shifting the conversation. She's elevating women's basketball to a whole new level. And most importantly, she's proving that the WNBA is here to stay, and it's only going to get bigger.
I know Caitlin, of course. We go way back, Midwestern. We had a lot of battles in AAU and stuff like that. We played together on Team USA. I think she's just a competitor. She wants to win.
Now let's get to the part that really turned heads. Sheryl Swoopes actually defending Caitlin Clark. Yes, you read that right. The same Sheryl Swoopes who had been openly critical of Caitlin's transition to the WNBA, the same legend who questioned whether Clark could truly dominate in the league, suddenly found herself tipping her hat to the young phenom.
Sheryl Swoopes was discussing the Indiana Fever on a podcast, and she was like, in the Fever, they've just been tremendous. And she started naming players, and she named like every player except Caitlin Clark. She wouldn't mention her name.
Yeah, true hater.
Swoopes, a three-time WNBA MVP and four-time champion, had previously been skeptical of Clark's ability to handle the physicality and speed of the professional level. She had voiced concerns about whether Clark's game, which thrived in college, would translate as effectively against seasoned veterans. But with Caitlin making a statement by prioritizing the WNBA over an NBA All-Star invitation, things took an unexpected turn. Instead of taking another shot at Clark, Swoopes did something that left jaws on the floor. She showed respect, genuine, undeniable respect. As separate as it seems, I think she's doing the noble thing as a female leader. She's putting the females first. I respect that. Wait, what? Did we just hear that right? Did Sheryl Swoopes just give Caitlin Clark a compliment? Did she just acknowledge that Clark is bigger than just an individual star, that she's actively shaping the future of women's basketball? This wasn't just about praising Clark for her skills on the court. This was about recognizing that Caitlin was making moves beyond basketball moves that could influence the business and branding of the WNBA for years to come. It was a rare moment where a critic turned into an admirer, where an old-school legend acknowledged that the new school had some serious weight to throw around. And let's be honest, that kind of public shift in opinion, that speaks volumes. Whoa, you've made it this far. That must mean you're really enjoying the video, right? So, why not take a quick second to hit that follow button? It's totally free, super simple, and helps us keep bringing you more awesome content, especially if you love the WNBA. Whether it's game highlights, player spotlights, or behind-the-scenes moments, we've got you covered. Plus, by following, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to your favorite teams and players. Go on, tap that follow now. All right, let's jump back in. What this means for the WNBA, let's be real. Caitlin Clark is changing the game in a way that we haven't seen before. She's not just playing basketball, she's redefining the WNBA's position in the sports world. With her leading the way, the WNBA is rising in popularity like never before. The Indiana Fever set a single-season attendance record with over 300,000 fans visiting Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Clark was responsible for 1 in 6 tickets sold in the WNBA last season. That's not just star power, that's supernova-level impact, but it's more than just packed arenas. Television ratings have skyrocketed. Every game Clark plays is a must-watch event, drawing millions of viewers who might not have tuned into a WNBA game before. Social media engagement has exploded, with highlight clips of her jaw-dropping three-pointers and flashy assists going viral within seconds. People aren't just watching, they're talking about the WNBA in ways they never have before. The WNBA was recognized as the fastest-growing sports brand of 2024. That's not just a sports achievement, it's a cultural shift. This isn't just a blip on the radar. This is momentum that could permanently change the trajectory of the league. And Clark is at the center of it all, turning skeptics into believers, casual fans into diehards, and young girls into the next generation of hoopers who now dream of playing in the WNBA. And let's be honest, her presence alone is forcing networks and advertisers to put more money into the WNBA. Suddenly, primetime slots are being allocated, endorsement deals are rolling in at a record pace, and conversations about equal pay are gaining more traction. Caitlin isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the future of the sport, one game at a time. She's proving that women's basketball isn't just worth watching, it's must-see entertainment, and the world is finally paying attention.
Caitlin Clark has been named Time Athlete of the Year, which you can see right here. This is the cover of the Time magazine for her after she took the WNBA by storm.
Now here's the final challenge. If Caitlin really wants to silence the haters for good, there's one last thing she has to do. Win MVP. And let's be real, it's not just about shutting down the critics anymore. It's about cementing her legacy, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that she belongs among the greats, and solidifying her position as the face of the WNBA. Her rookie season was nothing short of phenomenal, averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. She didn't just perform, she thrived, making highlight plays, drawing massive crowds, and leading her team with the poise of a seasoned veteran. She finished 4th in MVP, voting a major accomplishment for a rookie. But for some critics, that still wasn't enough. They wanted more. They wanted dominance. They wanted rings. So what's next? If Caitlin wins MVP or leads the Fever to a deep playoff run in 2025, the conversation will shift dramatically. She won't just be a rising star anymore, she'll be a full-fledged WNBA legend in the making. And the Fever? They're doing everything they can to build around her, bringing in Coach of the Year. Stephanie White was a masterstroke. Adding 3-time champion Natasha Howard gives them a veteran presence who knows what it takes to win. They're stacking the deck in Caitlin's favor, giving her the tools she needs to take her game and her team to the next level. But at the end of the day, it's all on Caitlin. If she levels up her game, if she becomes the MVP caliber player we all know she can be, then we're not just talking about another great WNBA player. We're talking about a dynasty in the making, a game changer who could define the league for years to come. So what's next for Caitlin Clark? Simple, she's going to keep doing what she does best, rewriting history, dominating the court, and inspiring millions. But let's break it down, because her future isn't just about individual success, it's about the legacy she's building and the ripple effect she's creating across the world of sports.
The official homepage of the WNBA right now, when they announce this schedule, is a photo of Caitlin Clark, and that's it. It's only Caitlin.
First off, expect Caitlin to continue shattering records. Whether it's single-season scoring, three-pointers made, or assists, she's just getting started. The WNBA hasn't seen a player with her level of skill, marketability, and impact in a long time, if ever. She's more than just an athlete. She's a movement. Beyond the stats, Caitlin's influence on the WNBA is undeniable. More sponsorship deals, increased viewership, bigger arena crowds. This isn't just a temporary trend. It's a full-scale revolution. Young girls who once only saw the NBA as their dream destination now have a shining example proving that the WNBA is where legends are made. And let's talk about competition. Other WNBA players are stepping up their game because of Caitlin. The league is more competitive, more exciting, and more in demand. She's forcing everyone to elevate their performance, and that only makes women's basketball better. But here's the fun part: what if the roles were reversed? Maybe next time, Steph Curry will be the one asking to compete in her three-point contest. Imagine that one of the greatest shooters in NBA history stepping up to challenge Caitlin on her turf. Now that would be the ultimate power move. One thing is for sure, Caitlin Clark is not just playing basketball, she's redefining it, elevating it, and making sure the world watches every step of the way.
And I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. She carried a heavy load.
And that's a wrap. Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game, she's owning it. From shutting down doubters like Sheryl Swoopes to putting women's basketball first, she's proving she's more than just a player, she's a movement. But this is just the beginning. The question is, what's next? Will Caitlin take home MVP? Will she lead the Fever to a championship? Will she keep making WNBA history? One thing's for sure, we're all watching. So, if you want to stay ahead of the game and never miss a single moment of Caitlin's rise, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This channel is where you'll get all the hot takes, breakdowns, and must-see moments before anyone else. And now, I gotta hear from you. Drop a comment, what's Caitlin's next big move? Is she the future GOAT? Or does she still have something to prove? Let's talk about it. I'll see you in the next video.